Okay, there it goes. Hi, everybody. Welcome. If you haven't been here before, I am Michelle Solis from This Must Be Ink. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Seekonk, Massachusetts, and I like to make quick and easy cards. Well, not all the time, but I like to make cards that doesn't take you all night to make. You want something a little bit fancy, but not so fancy that it's going to take you 3 hours to make it. That's what I like. Okay, so tonight, this is my Stamp and Sip workshop. It's on Friday night, every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is where the weekend starts early. So usually we are stamping and sipping. Tonight I am just sipping some wine because I've been running around like crazy. And honestly, I'm some water, sorry. I haven't even had time to pour myself a glass of wine. So let's take a sip of whatever we brought and we will get started. Hi, Jan. Hi, Lori. Lorraine. Oh, Lorraine. I don't know why I thought it said Lori. I need new glasses. I'm saying hi to people that aren't even here. Oh my goodness. Hi, Julie. Thanks for joining me, guys. Okay, so we're going to be doing this little, I'm calling it a double panel card. I don't know what it's actually called, but I'm going to show it to you when we bring the camera around here. All right, hang on. I have to think what we're doing. All right, I've got to bring this over. Okay. I've had a day. It's a Friday, and I had computer problems at work today. So I should have known that like my night wasn't going to go very smoothly either. But oh, it hasn't been too bad. But yeah, I couldn't get into my computer for half the day today. And then I finally got in. And then the guy was like, all right, well, just don't let your computer go quiet. Just stay signed in. So I tried to do that most of the day. But then at 4 o'clock or so, I got up and I went to put all my stuff in the kitchen and make myself a cup of coffee. And I forgot about the computer. And so I went back and I couldn't get back in my computer. So I said, okay, well, it's 4 o'clock. So I'm leaving. So I need an hour of mental health time because my day was so stressful. Okay, so here's the card that we're going to make. This one was done with the Waterside Retreat paper. And I honestly love this on this card. I think this is perfect paper for this card. This is one of those little scenes that you can cut out of one of the sheets of designer series paper. And then this is backside of one of the pieces. And I just think it's super, super pretty. And these little pieces work perfectly on the front. And then I fussy cut a little bicycle there for that one. Okay, so it's just a card base and a panel that we're going to attach. Very, very simple, but depending on how you decorate it, it's going to look really nice and that you spent a lot of time on it. All right, so what do we need to make this card? We are going to need a card base that is 5.5 by 6.5. Okay, and we're going to score that at 2 1/4. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer and score this, not cutting, get the cutting blade out of the way, at 2 1/4. Okay, that's going to be, that's not right. I'm like, that's way too big. Hang on, we forgot to cut it down to 6.5. Okay, that looks much better. Let's see, that's a big card. All right, so you're going to have this mountain fold so that you have this panel on the left-hand side. Okay, and then you're going to need the little front panel, and that is going to be 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. So I think this is already 3 3/4, 4 1/4. And we're going to score that at 1/2 an inch. So if you just push it back over the line, you've got some measurements on the right-hand side. You can go to 1/2 an inch. And we're going to score at 1/2 an inch. Okay. And that's it. That's all we need for the card base. Okay. Then you're going to need some designer series paper. So your strip for the side, get this out of the way. Your strip for the side is going to be 2 by 5 1/4. And then your little piece that's going to go on your panel is going to be 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. And then if you're going to do a focal point, I'm going to do a square. This is one of the squares from, right out of my brain. Hang on. Stylish Shape Styles. We've had them for so long. I think I could remember the name of them. And then you need an insert, which is going to be your typical 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so let's put it together. Very simple. All right, this one, we're going to score this. We're going to burnish this so you get a nice fold. And then burnish your little 1/2 inch piece over like that. Okay, so your card is going to open with this panel to the left. So this one is going to attach here on the right. So you're going to put glue on this little panel here. When it's folded in, put glue on that panel. Okay. And then we're going to line it up right with the edge of this card. So this is going to stay folded. Flip it over. And you're going to line up this edge with the edge of your card. And just try to eyeball that you've got about the same amount of space here and here. Now you could move this higher or lower if you wanted to. But I kind of like it right in the middle. So we're just going to make sure that that sticks there. And that's your card base. So now all you have to do is decorate it. All right, so tonight we're going to use, I'm using the this beautiful paper. This is the Sunset Coast, the Scenic Coast paper with all the beautiful sunsets. But the thing about this paper is the other side is so beautiful. You get these that almost look like a water reflection, which is why I'm using this one tonight. And then you get these even look like water, kind of like bubbles. So the other side is just as pretty. I know it seems like a waste, right? To use the other side. But, you know, there's only so many sunset cards you can make. So I think you should use the other side as well. I love this piece. I used this in another card. Okay, so that's the paper. That's where that's coming from. So this is going to fit right on this panel. Now, if you want to put a mat on this, you can. And I have an example. Oh, well, no, it was my example. This one, I did a mat. So my card base was basic beige, and then I did a matte in gray granite on this one. But on this one, we're not doing a mat tonight. All right, so we're going to put some glue on our paper. And we're just going to adhere that to our panel. And you should get an even border around all edges. Hi, Melanie. Hi, Anne. Thanks for popping in. Okay. And then we're going to put this piece on this other panel. Aw, I know, it's hard. It's hard to put the glue on the sunset. It's pretty. But you'll see why I want to use the water side. Okay. All right, so now you've got your left panel and your right panel, and your insert is going to go right inside here. But let me do some stamping. So tonight I'm going to be using the Splash and Relax. This is a photopolymer stamp set, and it's got these stamps that create this floaty. That's what we're going to make tonight. And then it's got one that makes this little beach ball, and it's got some great sentiments. And to be honest, I haven't figured out yet what these two things do. I think they're a shadow for the floaty and the beach ball, but I haven't figured that out yet. And then this little thing is a handle for the floaty. Okay, so we're going to inside. I don't know. I think I was going to try to do Hello Sunshine on the outside, but that's awfully big. But anyways, we're going to do It's Your Day to Make a Splash on the inside. So let's find that. I haven't pulled that out. It's your day to make a splash. That looks really long. It is pretty long. Okay, so we need a block. Wow. Once again, I have a workshop tomorrow, so some of my stuff is already packed up. All right, so what are we doing? We're stamping in Calypso Coral tonight. So we're going to ink that up and just put that right there for the inside sentiment. Let me just put that in while we have this open. And I have not even begun to use the dies for this set yet. I will show them to you. But tonight I was just going to stamp. All right, so there's our insert. And then we're going to make the front of the card. So I was going to do the little floaty. And I haven't stamped this yet. So we're going to figure this out together. All right, so this is the first piece that we're going to do. And I think I want to do it in a lighter color. I guess I could just stamp off. Let's just stamp off. So let's ink this up. This is the first time I'm inking it. It's very dark. Okay, so we can ink up. Yeah, I think it's good with second generation. Okay, so we're going to stamp off first. And stamp our floaty. And then it has this little piece that it can make the sections of this darker. So we're going to ink that up and see if we can line this up. There are only certain places you can line this up. Hopefully I can do it straight without being right on top of it. Oh, good enough. Okay, and then you've got this one that creates this little design, and that can go in these other areas. So I'm going to show you that as well. Ah, cute. That's very cute. All right, the only thing I didn't do was the little handle. Maybe we should try the handle. Let's try it. It's itty bitty. Oh, it's stuck to my finger. It's very small. Okay, we're going to do that here. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. Look at that. And then it would be opposite on the other side. That's so cute. Okay, I like it. All right, now what color? Well, I guess I'm going to do the sentiment in the same color. Hang on. There's a piece for the sentiment. Let's see. So we've got hello, sunshine. That would just not fit on there unless we use a separate piece of paper. Or we've got, I can't read them, wishing happiness floats your way, relax and enjoy, or fun in the sun. I like the floating your way. Happiness floating your way. All right, let's do that one. I think that should fit on the corner here. Yes, it should. Okay. So we will find another block for that one. I should have thought this through a little better. I could have done some stamping in the Azure Afternoon for the sentiment. But that's all right. Just going to go with the coordinating color. There we go. Okay. So there's our front piece for our card. That's really cute. All right, so we're going to get this on with some dimensionals that I just had a moment ago. Here they are. I don't know how you lose things when you're not moving. I'm just sitting in one place. Okay. And then we'll find some bling. There we go. And then the Sunset Coast, or why do I keep wanting to call it Sunset Coast? Scenic Coast has some embellishments that coordinate with it. They're called Sunset Sparkle Sequins. That's why I want to call everything sunset, I think. I don't know. All right, so these come in clear, cloud cover, strawberry slush, and timid tiger. So none of those works with my Calypso Coral. Hang on, we need to find a different color. Maybe we're going to just use the clear. Let's just use the clear. Okay. Because this clear is not really clear. It's kind of like iridescent. And I feel like it's going to match whatever you put it down on. So I'm going to put one up there. Let's get a big one. It's going to kind of reflect what's around it. Okay, so there we go. Wishing happiness floats your way. It's your day to make a splash. That's a cute little birthday card, or really any kind of celebration card. Very cute. All right, so here is the one that I did for the sample with the Waterside Retreat. Here's the Scenic Coast paper. All right, what else did we make? Okay, so I did use the other side of the Scenic Coast just to make everybody happy. And so this one I used the sunset for that, and then I used the Scenic Coast die, which I thought just perfectly fit on this card, and the sentiment, you brighten my day. I did not stamp inside of this one. So I used the back side of the paper and then the sunset side of the paper for that one. This paper is so gorgeous. It's got that shimmer. It looks like the sun is really shimmering off the water. And then the last one that I did was with the Cutest Crew. And this was the Mixed Up Patterns, I think it's called, paper. That's also new in the catalog. And so I used the little birds from the Cutest Crew with that paper. Happy birthday. Have the best day. All right. So that's it. It's a cute little card. Does not take long to make, and you can whip that up for any occasion with any paper that you've got. Okay. All right. I hope you guys liked that. Let me get out of here. There we go. Okay. So that's it for me tonight. That was fast, right? I have a workshop tomorrow, so I have a few things that I need to finish up for the workshop. So I needed something just quick and easy, but a great card for tonight's workshop. So thank you guys so much for joining in. If you want the measurements in PDF for that card, you can jump on my email list at thismustbeinc.com. Just join my email list. On Wednesday, I send out a general email, and it's always got the measurements and pictures of the card that we did on the Friday before. And usually I throw in an extra PDF, extra PDF and card instructions for an extra card. So you'll want to be on the list. You don't want to miss it. Okay. All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining. We got Sharon came in at the last minute, and Melanie and Betsy. Thank you, guys. All right. So I will see everybody next week. Have a great weekend and stay crafty, my friends.